Okay, it's time again for that life after high school graduation stuff. And I know you guys have been watching every episode 3 or 4 times. Well, maybe just twice. All right. But if you remember, so far we've covered taking care of your car and trying to make sure you pay attention when the check engine light goes on and then banking and credit cards and the credit scores, all of those kinds of things. If you haven't gone and looked at those, they're timeless, by the way. Relook at them, you guys. And then insurances, renter's insurance, car, life, what that means, and maybe the prices of some of those things. And our last one, which was the new year here in January that we started with, was about tax returns. And I don't care if you say I don't want it, okay? You have to anyway. I mean, it's just one of those governmental play by the rules things. And yeah, we all had to learn it. Okay, Dr. Mark Pickla, how are you again? And I promised we'd be back. And this time, we're going to be talking about cooking 101. All right? Trying to make sure and going with the basics. And my special guest, Julie Shellenbarger, is here. And she's a longtime friend and an entrepreneur, which both are big time in our book here. So, Julie, a little bit about yourself before we
Yeah,
go.
thanks for having me, Dr. Pickla. My name is Julie Shellenbarger. I'm the owner of Proof Bakehouse, which is a micro bakery, which means that I produce pastries and breads on a smaller scale, a business I had started a couple of years ago, specializing in artisan sourdough and American and European breads and pastries. And one of the reasons that I think that this business is thriving is because I've got the basics down. You can make all the fancy stuff you want, but if you don't have the basics,
And that's why we're here. We're going to start with cooking. And if you're going off to college or you're starting a job and you're living by yourself, you can't eat out of a box. I will just say that right off. Your health will be bad, all those kinds of things. And so when I asked Julie to stop by, we're trying to make sure you are prepared to have all the basics. When I went off to college, I couldn't even boil water. My mom spoiled me. That's all I can say about that. But we didn't. So, Julie, how about if we start with what are some of the tools that you will need to gather around you to start down the cooking road?
yeah, sure. If all you've got is paper plates and plastic utensils, that's fine too. I would, at a minimum, hit up maybe some local garage sales and look for cast iron. You can pick up some cast iron skillets pretty inexpensively. The key to cast iron, making them non-stick, is getting what we call a good season on them. And it just simply means heating up the pan a little bit, wiping it with some butter or some oil, putting it in a warm oven, and doing that repeatedly. And it'll build up a film, if you will, and it makes it nonstick. So those Teflon pots and pans, if you got them, that's great. But there's nothing better than cast iron. Same applies to stainless steel pans.
And make sure that you pay attention to what you're looking at and what you're buying. Some of them have lasting power. You may have to nurture them a little bit at a time, but make sure if you buy something that looks bad, chances are it won't last very long, and you'll be back buying something different. When you think about picking the kinds of stuff that you would need to begin cooking, and whether it's frying something in the pan, whatever, going to the store, what would you recommend about picking the right stuff you need?
Sure. For sure, a stock pot, something where you can boil water,
Yeah.
boil pastas in, or make a big pot of chili. You always want to have a really good pot with a lid. There are lids that are interchangeable. They fit different size pans and pots. They're pretty universal. Again, you can pick them up at Salvation Army. You can pick them up at garage sales. They're very inexpensive. Also an egg pan, an egg frying pan. And also you want to get a skillet. I would say if you had one of each of those 3 items, you can really prepare any meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You can.
If you haven't been taking notes, you're already missing the points, okay? Because, watch it again and make these points, because then you got to talk about measuring stuff. And before we even started this video, yes, I picked up some points that I didn't even know. But even back to the beginning, if you decide you're going to try your luck at making spaghetti or this, I guess you're supposed to read the directions.
Yeah, you could have all the pots and pans in the world, but if you're not reading the recipe from A to Z, just give it a quick once over for 2 reasons. One, make sure you have all of the ingredients. So take your recipe card and go shopping at your home.
I've never done that. And did I have to go back 3 times because of that? Yes, I did.
And then you may realize you're out of a key ingredient and can't make the recipe at all. So read the ingredients and then read the instructions. The instructions may say butter for the ingredients, but the instructions say melted butter. That will wildly change your recipe if you're not preparing those ingredients before you mix them all together. So just give your recipe a quick once over, go shopping with it, get all your ingredients, lay them all out. You'll put them in sequential order, and then make sure, again, you read the instructions first before you mix or stir or do anything.
When you're thinking about going out there today, time seems to be a real challenge for whether you're a student or you got to be at the job or you got so much time,
Sure.
Whatever. So do you have some thoughts about trying to make stuff on the go that is kind of nutritious, but not a bologna sandwich, like is my favorite?
I do, actually. If you can carve out even just an hour a week, you can meal prep your meals for the whole week.
There you go.
You can meal prep, make yourself a big pot of chili or a big pot of pasta. Get the meal prep. They're compartmentalized. They usually have 3 compartments, and they come with a lid. Dollar Tree sells them. Dollar General sells them. They're $1.25. And set them all up. And all you have to do when you run off for work or school is just grab one, throw it in your bag. I would highly recommend in doing that. There's some small appliances that you can pick up relatively inexpensively, specifically an air fryer. I mean, you can cook a steak from frozen, so you don't have to worry about thawing it out. From frozen in 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how you like your steak.
So to begin with, again, having a big time oven is a good thing. All right, not question that, because if you have one, use it and make it work. But we're talking a microwave, which today, are all sizes even, and not that expensive, even buying them brand new. A toaster oven, does that make sense?
It does, a toaster oven. And I'll just piggyback on the microwave. Oftentimes microwaves now have the new technology ones have another feature called convection, which means it has air circulating throughout, which is going to cook the food more evenly and quicker. So it has 2 functions. It has your static microwave, but then it also has convection. But a toaster oven can really be your best friend. I mean, you can take a hot dog bun or a hamburger bun and make yourself a piece of, French bread pizza. I mean,
so I could even add cheese to my bologna sandwich and heat it up, and I'm in, right?
Yes,
okay. Right. So far, you guys, remember to buy the most appropriate pots and pans and fry pans that you can. Look them over, and do the best you can. You don't have to buy new all the time. Next, read the recipe front to back. You can't skip steps, because you'll just end up probably wasting the whole thing. And then use the equipment that you have available to you. If a microwave is your only option, look and do a little research to make sure if it's got convection options or whatever, make the best use of it every time. And eating on the go, Julie hit it right on. It's like prepare for 2 or 3 days in a row. Take the time to make stuff, put it in the fridge, freezer, whatever.
Absolutely.
It's still good to go, and you can, have a little diversity in your bologna sandwiches then, all right, as you're going along. When you think about, shopping then, and you're thinking about what you need to buy, are there particular items, Julie? I don't, whether it's hamburgers, is there anything in particular about those different kinds of meats or anything that we can toss out real quick to them?
Yeah, I would buy in bulk. If you ever have the opportunity, buy a 5-pound package tube, however they call them, let's say a burger, which is
Okay.
universal. You can make goulash and chili and hamburgers. When you get it home, portion it out. What I like to do is kind of eyeball it and get enough that you can put in a big Ziploc baggie, flatten it out, and make a cross across it and put it in the freezer that way. That way, you've already got the indentation. You can open up the bag and just snap one off, and you have one burger to go, and you don't have to thaw out the entire 5 pounds.
There you go.
You can, do up the meatballs, just, a little bit of breadcrumb and an egg with your burger, portion those up, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and then you can take out what you want. So a little bit of effort up front goes a long ways.
Make sure you take these suggestions not to heart, but to your stomach, okay? And make sure you use all of the different pieces of equipment. We're talking about using your freezer, to preserve what you maybe made in advance, those kinds of things. And so eating on the go isn't a challenge. Having leftovers isn't a bad thing. You can do all those things. We have to, we used up our 10 minutes or more already.
Wow, that went fast.
We've got to go. So if you're wondering, all right, yes, next month we're talking jobs. And yes, by popular demand, I'm going to be the interviewee. Okay? So do I have 101 thoughts on you getting ready for jobs? You betcha. So stay tuned for that. Other topics that are coming in, dressing best for the workplace. Don't think that it doesn't matter. It does, and we'll talk about that in the jobs thing too. And then tips for staying healthy. Okay, yeah, you heard them all. Yeah, hurry up, join the exercise club. You don't have to do that. There's stuff you can do on your own. That'll be part of the tips for staying healthy. Julie, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see all of you next month. Thanks.
Thank you.